From Lando Nowins to leading the World Championship with 3 races to go, have we all been wrong about Lando Norris? Following the 2025 Sao Paulo Grand Prix, Lando Norris has now 24 points clear at the top of the championship, ahead of Oscar Piastri and 49 points clear of 4-time world champion Max Verstappen. So have we all been wrong about him in the first place? Lando Norris's racing mentality was called into question last year as McLaren failed to make more of a dominant car that they had at the back end of last season, with Norris and Piastri not picking up the wins that you would maybe expect, with wins falling away to the likes of Ferrari and Mercedes, when arguably the quickest package has been McLaren's since Miami in 2024. But now he sits at the top of the tree, having extended his lead with full points in the sprint in Sao Paulo and full points in the race, gaining 23 on his teammate throughout that. I know some people might say that this is British bias and us hyping him up out of proportion once again, but the man's leading the World Championship. There needs to be a conversation about the change that Lando Norris has had over the last 8 months, a year. So how has he turned it around? Well, Lando Norris has bounced back incredibly well on 2 occasions this season. The crash in Canada looked like a huge turning point at the time, and it maybe hasn't been this big change that we expected and anticipated it to be. But the way that he responded after that has shown world champion mentality. After Canada and the following 4 races, he won back-to-back in 2 of them and then finished second and first again, showing the resilience and the ability to put everything aside that Lando Norris had there. His next DNF and his next bounce back came after Zandvoort, where out of his hands he had to retire from the race with an issue, and after that he has gone on to score 115 points to Oscar Piastri's 57, over double the amount of points that Piastri has since Zandvoort. Now, there are a combination of things that can lead to someone having this big change in form. In terms of Oscar Piastri, you look at his dip in form over the last few weeks, it has coincided with the races that last season he struggled at. And if you get your tinfoil hat out as well, you might be saying that, oh, McLaren are doing something to Oscar Piastri. They're not. They've got the cars that they want. The difference has been that Lando Norris has bounced back brilliantly, and Oscar Piastri has been at some of the tracks that he's maybe not as good at. Everyone has races that they're not as good at. Everyone have races that they're really good at. Oscar Piastri, unfortunately, is in that run of races. And Lando Norris has made the most of it for the most part. You look at Baku, that's maybe the big slip up there. If there wasn't that 7th place in Baku, Lando Norris could be miles ahead. And in the same way, if he didn't DNF in the Netherlands, we'd be having a different conversation. Add into that Lando Norris has only finished off the podium twice, apart from DNFs, and you look at a season that has been incredibly strong, with very few mistakes, and had it not been for those incidents, there would have been a lot more points on the table. Even if Lando Norris didn't overtake Oscar Piastri in both of those opportunities, he missed out on huge points as a result of that. I may be a bit premature, we've got 3 races left still to go, but Lando Norris's turnaround shows that his mentality works for him. The way that he's been able to bounce back on 2 separate occasions and go on very impressive runs of form shows the minerals that he's made of. He really deserves all the credit and the accolades, particularly for weekends such as Mexico and such as Brazil, where he's picked up huge points when his teammate has struggled in the same car. Oscar Piastri, though, isn't out of it and could quite easily still win the championship. 1 DNF and it all swings once again, and it swings the opposite way, and Oscar Piastri's right back in it, and in that sense also Max Verstappen would be in it, more in it as well. And I wouldn't ever want to put the jinx of the commentator's curse on Lando Norris. But provided that things go relatively well for Lando Norris over the rest of the season, even if Oscar Piastri wins all of the races, picking up 75 points, if Lando Norris finishes second and finishes second behind him in the sprint race, Lando Norris still wins the championship. Of course, there is another factor there. You've got the likes of George Russell, Kimi Antonelli, and of course, the great Max Verstappen, who are always going to be in and around those points and will take points off the top 2. It's not going to be straightforward. I doubt we're going to have 4 McLaren 1-2s in a row that lead us to the point of Oscar Piastri being that close as a result of 1-2 finishes. But that just shows what the lead at the moment has given Lando Norris. It's given him a buffer where actually he doesn't need to win every race for the end of the season in order to win the championship. And Oscar Piastri has all the pressure on him. We've seen mistakes starting to come when that pressure has arisen, and it will continue to do so, particularly at this point in the year. It's now time we start to give Lando Norris and the way that he works as a driver, the mentality of him, a little bit more credit for the work that he's put in this season. At times it could have been very difficult. After that DNF in Zandvoort, it looked glum, and it looked like Oscar Piastri was going to walk away with that title, but he hasn't. Lando Norris has been right there all the way and is now reaping the rewards. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Who do you think is going to win the title? Is Max still in it? I don't think so, but is Max still in this? And of course, let us know what your thoughts are on the McLaren battle this season. Who do you want to win the title between the two McLarens? And do you agree? Should Lando Norris be starting to get that praise for an excellent season? Don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe. And of course, we'll see you on the next video. Cheers.